Detroit, baby. We out here. You see what's going on. We activated. We ain't playing no games.
So, all right. So you do the Vezo video. He rocking with it.
Yeah.
At that point, people are starting to tap in now.
Yeah. So this was 2000. This was September of 2015.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So we did that video. I think it was called Camera Off. We did that, and then I was doing a lot of shit with Rocky Bad because she was with Vaz. She was like part of IUR at the time. You know what I mean? Her and Vaz had a thing.
Oh, that's
so
that,
like
that's,
they were. She.
I never knew that.
I think she was. I don't know if it was an official thing, but they were like working on it becoming, her like the first. So me and her were just shooting videos too. Like we were going crazy too. It was me, Vaz, her, and then whatever like whoever else was in Vez's camp. I was shooting for them. And that was pretty much 2015. 2016 is kind of like,
that was the year.
Yeah, because Vez he dropped Moonwalking.
Went crazy.
Song. So they sent me the song, and before we did Moonwalking, we actually did a collab with I don't know if you know Hustleberry Finn.
Yeah.
So
Nick,
so
another legend.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, Nick's for sure legend, man. So we did a collab. We did a collab for Vez for this song called Rain. So me and him collabed on that. And then Moonwalking came out and they wanted to collab. But I've never told nobody the story, so I guess you guys get it for. I was very adamant on doing it myself. So I had a heart-to-heart with Chanel. I'm like, hey, I want a real shot at this, type of shit. Like, do you mind if like I do this by myself? Like if I direct it myself, like it was no disrespect to Nick, you know what I'm saying? But
sure.
I really wanted
to see what you could do.
I really wanted to prove myself. No, for sure. And I really told her I really felt strong about what I could do on my own. You know what I mean? Because again, I was still kind of relatively new. He was already shooting with Vez, so like,
okay,
and I didn't want to like feel like I was pushing him to the side, but I was really like, man, if I don't ask, I'll never. I don't know if if I don't even take the shot, I'll never. Like the worst case, like the video is trash, but like, so that's when we worked on the Moonwalking film. My bad. Moonwalking movie. Oh, I keep saying movie.
Because you
felt like a movie though.
And I was about to say too, I mean, and we'll get to that part later, but I kind of understand better why your videos look the way that they look.
Well, yeah, man, like, so I put that together and they loved it. Like they love how it turned out. But since I was still relatively unknown at the time, people didn't know who directed it. They're like, yo, who the fuck is this? People were saying like, did he get somebody from LA to do this? And I'm
right.
Like,
and that was a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but I was just like, man, like I've always been I'm big on man, like Detroit. You know what I mean? Like we got talent here, bro. We all know that now, but like I've always been like that. You know what I mean? And I hate when like other directors from like those cities, and I see a video like from an artist that's like signed now, and it's like directed by so and so. Then you look at their shit, they're like all from LA.
Yeah, like stay home.
Yeah,
like
you got
like,
this. You know what I mean? And that's how I used to feel. I mean, I get it now, but like that's how I used to feel like when I first started doing this. But like, so fast forward to the Moonwalking situation. Nick was still a part of it. He was in the video, but like again, it was just like, if I don't do this on my own, bro, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to, because I can't piggyback off somebody. He was already like established, you know what I mean? I wasn't, so I was really trying to establish myself, you know what I mean? And then, so that video actually ended up winning an award for Video of the Year. They used to do these things called the Underground and Hip Hop Awards or whatever.
Yeah.
And it won Video of the Year.
That's hard.
And I'm like, oh shit.
Right. That had to be a monumental. It
was a big song. You know what I'm saying? It was a big song.
Gigantic song.
I think between him and Lonnie Bands, they had the biggest song that year. I forgot the name of the song that Lonnie had that year. It was like 2016, I think. I'll think of it later. But they had the biggest songs that year. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that winning that was like everything.
Nah, that's huge.
I was like, yo, this is crazy. So, but then me and Vez did a video with Gucci, and then he had to go to prison. And then I kind of like.
So you work with Gucci.
Yeah, so he had a song with Gucci, featured with Gucci, and then they were like, we're going to Miami to shoot this. I'm like,
I actually remember that. That's funny too. I actually remember that. I think Zaytoven produced that too, but yeah. So if you could talk a little bit about that, like the process of shooting.
I was nervous as fuck.
Sure.
It was, I mean, they wanted to keep it simple. You know, Vess has always been like, you know, he has a style that he likes to stick to and it works, you know, and I think that's what made him go so far. And that's why he's on such a like consistent path now. But that's what he wanted. They're like, oh, we're going to do that. I'm like, all right, cool. So we started finding a location where to shoot it. And Gucci was cool as hell, bro. Like, he came and was like, all right, let's do the scenes, and like, he was like, do you need more from me? I'll stay longer. Like a lot of times you run into a featured artist and they want to get in and out. Like, give me in and out. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? I got an hour.
And do that. And if I may, do that limit your ability to really
because now
what you're trying to get?
100%. Yeah, hell yeah. Because now it's like, you know, sometimes you want to build around the whole storyline between them and the artist, you know, but then you can't because you're like, all right, I got to make it about the artist, not so much about the feature. Because sometimes the feature can be bigger than the artist, you know.
True.
So that kind of, like, well, I had friends that were doing bigger videos at the time too, but they also told me, like, when you do a feature, just concentrate on doing their stuff like a limited, like you have this amount of time and that's it. So that's how we did it. But he was so cool; he was gonna stick around.
Right.
So I was like,
prepared.
I was prepared. I already knocked all of his shit out. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So I wasn't really tripping about it. But he was cool as fuck. Like, super cool. He took pictures. Like, super cool dude. Came by himself on some like just normal shit. And I'm like, all right, bet.
That's
so I'll say the only issue we probably had during that shoot, it was nothing like of the shoot, but like I don't know if it was just me nervous or some shit, but I had this killer headache. I'm like, bro, like, it was fucking, I don't know what it was. And I started like, I'm like, too much information, but I was like throwing up and shit. And I'm like, man, what the hell's going on with me? Literally like an hour before the shoot. And I'm like, man, what the hell? So Chanel was like, here, take this, drink this water. I'm like, all right, man.
Cause this a big shoot.
Yeah,
you don't pull this
off. Like all of a sudden I was good and then boom, like it just, some shit just hit me. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I could have been the nerves or whatever. I know. But yeah, man, like, that shit was dope. So that was, for me, that was a big year too, because again, that feature, the shit with Moonwalking. Somebody reached out to me for the T Grizzly First Day Out shit too, but obviously that went to Nick. Yeah. So you know, I mean, again, he was already established, so it was just for like. Sure.
But even still,
and I'm glad he did it though. Yeah, I'm glad he did it because the video
out fire, man.
That video's so fire. Like I don't think anybody could pull it off the way.
Bro, that was crazy. Like that was crazy. Yeah, that video
the way he, I think Kiefer helped him with that. I'm not sure, but the way they pulled it off, like I don't think I would have thought like that. You know what I'm saying?
And I was about to say, you actually being a director yourself. I made note not to call you a videographer.
No, it's cool. It's all good. I ain't tripping.
You know, it's levels to this. You feel me?
Yeah, I guess.
But you know, you being a director as well, kind of seeing him put that together. You said you don't know. You think
I don't know if I would have thought of the shit that he thought of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So. And I'm glad he did it. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, man, I don't think anybody else would have been able to pull this video off the way it was. You know what I mean?
So let's go a little bit into actually preparing for a set.
Yeah.
Because we see, you know, where you are now, and like I said, it's like damn near you making movies. Like I look at what you do with Rudy, LOM Rudy. I look at a lot of stuff that you do, and all of it is just different, bro. Like, what's the ins and outs to preparing for a shoot?
I mean, I probably know some of these artist songs better than they know it themselves, because I listen to it over and over and over. Listen for keywords that they're saying. Sometimes I'll ask them, like, yo, what's the inspiration behind this? Sometimes they don't even know. They just read the song. I'm like, all right. Like between, like a perfect example is like me and Courtney Bell. Like,
you know, man. Shout out to Courtney Bell.
Yeah, man,
too,
for real.
Man. Solid guy.
You know, we always bounce off ideas off each other. He'll tell me like, yo, I was going through this when I wrote the song. That it's like that type of. So I try to have that communication with the artist. You know, trying to figure out what was the meaning behind a video. Sometimes I ask, sometimes I don't. I'll just listen to the song. But when I listen to a song, I also have like mass. I watch a lot of music videos already as it is, like classic ones, new ones, watch hella movies. So it's like there's always things that just kind of like something will hit, and I'm like, oh, let's do this. You know, so.
And so speaking of Courtney Bell, because honestly, like y'all did probably like one of my favorite videos, which is I forget the song, but it's where he was like in the graveyard.
Oh,
he was in like the mental home, and like how the hell did you get like what was that location? Like
so which one? Because there's two different videos. They're part one and part two in a sense because one leads into the other.
So specifically the one where he was like in the mental home, and I kind of just seen it like flashing back and forth for like he was tweaking. Like if you know
so
what I'm talking about.
That's introspection. So yeah, so when he sent me that, he was telling me what he was going through and what he wanted to do. So he came with the idea pretty much for that one. He was like, I want to just be in a mental. Da, da, da. So I'm like, all right, and I went looking for a location. And then once I find a spot and we're there, we kind of like start, you know. That one didn't like. I usually pre-plan stuff. That one we already had an idea. Already had an idea what we wanted to do. So I'm like, all right, once we get there, I look around and we're looking at film here. We're gonna do this, but I also have images of like what I want to do for a certain video, like that shadow image that he had.
Yeah.
I have that stuff saved in my phone or on Instagram that I see like people take pictures or I mean I get inspiration from anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'll see like, damn, that's a hard ass picture of like you know my cinematographer Carlos. He has a lot of stuff saved too, so he's like, oh, we should do this and da. So it's like a collaborative effort because with anything, especially I feel like any art is a collaborative effort. For sure. So like it's never like my way or the highway. I can be stubborn, but like it's never like I'm always gonna listen to the artist because at the end of the day, it's your song.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I gotta bring it to life.
Absolutely.
So I can't like ignore what the hell you're saying.